Hey everyone! Today I want to challenge one of the most repeated pieces of advice in wildlife photography. Never shoot at midday. And yes, golden hour is magical, but nature doesn't always wait for the perfect light. Birds show up when they want, and sometimes your only chance happens under the harsh midday sun.
I will walk on glass, I will run 10,000 miles and more, I will give my eyes. If you love
So, instead of packing up your gear, let me share with you what I have learned about making the most of these bright conditions and still coming home with images you are proud of. Now, we all know that midday sun creates extreme contrast. The shadows go deep, the highlights go nuclear, and color can sometimes feel lifeless. But doesn't mean photography has to stop. Harsh light is unforgiving. It strips away softness, it exposes every flaw, but it also reveals truth. Photographing in the midday sun forces us to face reality as it is, raw, intense and powerful. And sometimes that's the story worth telling. You see, it's not about avoiding the sun. It's about learning to read it, work with it, and even make it part of your composition. It took me a while to stop seeing harsh light as the enemy and instead stop thinking of it as another creative element. So, one of the first things I do is activate the highlight alert or blinkies on my camera. This helps me immediately catch if I'm losing detail in bright feathers, reflections or sand. In bright environments like beaches or dry grasslands, white birds are particularly risky. You may not notice it during the shot, but once you're home, these details are gone forever. So I expose for the brightest part, usually the bird's feathers, and let the rest fall into place. Shooting in RAW is essential here, because it gives you more flexibility to recover shadows later. Sometimes I will intentionally underexpose by about 2/3 of a stop, to make sure I keep those highlights safe. Speaking of white birds, they are thug. They reflect like crazy, but if you get the exposure right, they can still look stunning. A white bird in full sun is like fire to film. 1 second too long and it burns. But if you hold steady, if you dare to expose for the brightest feather, the reward is extraordinary. Detail carved out of light itself. A trick I use is to switching to spot metering, aiming right at the bird's brightest plumage and ignoring the background entirely. What matters most is keeping that detail. I have salvaged more than a few images using this approach, especially when there is no shade in sight. Now, if you can't find shade, take it. Birds often retreat under trees, by cliffs, near bridges. And in those moments, the light softens up beautifully. It's a gift. Shade is not the absence of light. It's where the story hides. In the cool silence beneath a tree or the shelter of a cliff, shadows gives us depth, contrast and emotion. Find them and your photo breathes again. But not all shade is the same. Sometimes the best is when the bird is in the shade and the background remains lit. That separation can make the subject really pop. And even when you're stuck in full sun, try this. Walk around the bird, see if you can shoot the shadow side. You will often get softened light and some beautiful contrast, especially if the sun gives you a rim light around the feathers. What I love about strong midday light, when I allow myself to enjoy it, is that it adds structure. It carves out shadows, reveals textures. The trick is to see them.
Midday sun draws with a heavy hand. It cuts lines, it sculpts shadows, it demands bold choices. This is not the hour for subtlety, it's the hour for strength. Let the geometry of light and shadow guide your frame.
So instead of trying to avoid the harshness, I will sometimes embrace it. I look for long shadows like wings casting shape on sand. I position myself where I can use light as part of the frame, or let shadows become graphic elements. It's not always about soft and dreamy. Sometimes it's bold and striking. Changing your position by just a meter or two can make all the difference. At midday, light comes from straight above, so move. Try to catch it from the side or put it behind you. A slight side angle usually gives you more control over exposure and brings out textures in feathers without going full silhouette. And look, sometimes you're stuck. No shade, no clouds, the sun is ablazing. This is when I remind myself, even this kind of light has its uses.
Sometimes the sun wins. No shade, no cloud, no mercy. But even then, there is beauty. In the shimmer of heat rising from sun, in the black silhouette of wings against a blazing sky, creativity is born when comfort is gone.
You can go for silhouettes, especially effective with birds in flight or perched in high branches. Or embrace the heat, show the shimmer rising off the ground, the brightness in the frame. Tell the truth of that moment. Let the harshness become part of the mood. And if there is a moment when two birds interact, or one stretches his wings, the light between those wings can be magical. It's a split second, but if you're ready, it can turn into your best shot of the day.
In the middle of the night, been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind.
So yes, midday light is challenging, but it's also real. It's when nature is often active. And if you train your eye and your technique, you can absolutely make it work. Let me know in the comments if you have ever captured a great wildlife shot in fog light. What worked for you? I would love to hear your experience. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, consider subscribing. I will keep sharing everything I learned, one sunny moment at a time. Bye bye.
For the time